Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, prize fix content, all that good stuff. I haven't been making too much prize fix content because, it's the playoffs, a lot of line movement, all that good stuff. But all these videos, they get posted on, can this load? Posted on this subreddit right here. You can find my post right here. I'll have it linked down below, where I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Not much news during the playoffs, but you can ask me questions about the slate leading up to lock. After lock, I'll be around here all day pretty much, so I'll have that link down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. I'll also have that link down below. All right, without further ado, let's go over my lineups from tonight. That is not my lineup. I actually had this lineup, and I swapped off it, so that's just brutal pain. I had this lineup until like 20 minutes before lock. I'll show you guys. I made an update in my Discord. I said, I'm going to go ahead and make Bradley Beal core. And that's when I swapped off this lineup here that won everything. So that's pretty painful, but still ended up being a really good night. We'll go over main slate last. We'll go over, this was main slate as well. We'll go over, no, this was night slate. We'll go over night slate first. So, night slate went well cashed. My core for night slate was Patrick Beverley, Bobby Portis, Damian Lillard, and Pascal Siakam. So that did well. Core did great. Don't really need to talk about that too much. And then lineup. So, we'll go over my best lineup last. This is my first lineup. My core today was Pascal Siakam, Patrick Beverley, Bradley Beal, Bobby Portis, and then I did have McDaniels in the core. I told everyone I'm going to prioritize Bradley Beal. I still did get to McDaniels in this other lineup. A lot of people in Discord still kept McDaniels. So we had some really good days in Discord as well. McDaniels was one of the best value plays on the slate, in my opinion. But as you can see in both my lineups, I just slammed Brook Lopez and Miles Turner. I had at least one of them in both my lineups today. I thought both were easily the two best. And okay, so here's how I ranked the centers. Well, not ranking them, but I thought Miles Turner, Brook Lopez, Rudy Gobert were three of the best center plays in the slate, in my opinion. So I wanted to get at least two of those three in my lineups. I didn't have the money, unfortunately, for Rudy Gobert. I do believe Gobert had a pretty good game tonight, though. I flag planted him for my Discord. I think he had a couple blocks and steals in there, so he had a decent game as well. But yeah, pretty good night overall. This is my higher scoring lineup. I got away with Middleton. Didn't have Middleton this one, and it also had McDaniels, so that did a lot better. And then this lineup was my other lineup. Yeah, hopefully you guys had a good night. Feel good about having a good night tonight. Let's just jump right into this slate. So let's go over the news. Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier are going to remain out for this game. Taking a look at the rotation is with Miami. It's tough to gauge. I think, we're obviously going to see big minutes for Jamie, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Caleb Martin, I'm expecting around 30 minutes once again here, but everywhere else it gets a bit tricky. Like, they can ride the hot hand with a lot of guys here. You could see Duncan play more than 15 minutes. You could see Kevin Love play 5 minutes tomorrow, and I wouldn't be shocked. DeLon Wright can play less. I think Jovic is good for at least over 20 minutes. And I think Highsmith is good for at least high teens to low 20s minutes. So a little bit tricky there with the rotation here. But let's take a look at the price points. I think Bam and Harrell both look good. I mean, ton of blowout risk here. Celtics, they're, in my opinion, obviously either the first or second best team in the league. Them, Denver, obviously. So there's definitely a lot of blowout risk here without Jimmy Butler. But you're going to see big minutes for both the main guys, regardless of a blowout. They'll get high 30s regardless. You saw 34 here in a blowout for Tyler Hero. You saw 36 in a blowout for Bam Adebayo. So I don't think you have to worry about that too much here. It is a tough matchup going up against Boston. But, I mean, if the game stays competitive, it's going to be a big game from at least one of these guys, possibly both of them. So I think they're decent options. I think if I had to pick one, I think Tyler... I think I give the slight edge to Tyler Hero, but I think they're both good plays. I don't think too many people are going to be on either of them anyway. I think this Pelicans game is just going to be the chalk of the slate. So I don't mind low and Bam, low and Tyler Hero. Bam Adebayo, double upside, should play big minutes. They're going to need his scoring out there. He's been shooting threes, which is crazy. He hit one in this game, which is even crazier. But yeah, they're going to need him. I think 8.2K is a reasonable price point. I think he's a really good contrarian play. Like I said, Tyler Hero, he's been stuffing the statue a lot more. They need his offense. They need his facilitating as well. Going to start at the point with no Terry Rozier. So like both the top two guys here for Miami, Jamie Jackson Jr. is just very safe, man. I'm expecting big minutes for him once again here. Stat sheet stuffer. They're going to need him to step up. I just think he's very safe. Now, does he stand out as an amazing play at this price point? No, not really. But he's probably just not going to kill you. And he does have a ceiling. Like, he'll probably get you anywhere from like 25 to 35 fantasy points, which at 5.8K is fine, right? He has a ceiling as well. We saw it this game. So I think Jackson is very solid, very safe in the mid-range. Now we get to the value. Caleb Martin's gone unowned pretty much every single slate. He hasn't had a good shooting game yet, but there's going to be one game where he just nukes the slate at no ownership. I don't know if you guys remember last year in the playoffs, different scenario, but no Jimmy Butler. He's going to have to step up a bit more. I don't mind him as a contrarian value that not a lot of people are going to be on. Can grab you some rebounds. When he's hitting his shots, he does have a ceiling as well. I don't think anyone's going to play him, so I like him as a contrarian value. Jovic, it pains me to say it, but I think he's a decent value. I'm expecting over 20 minutes for him. He can grab some rebounds. Hasn't had a good shooting game yet and still put up decent numbers for his price point. I'm expecting similar minutes here. I think he's a decent value. He would high spit this playable, but I think I'd rather play Jovic. Kevin Love, I just think is dust. Like I said, he could play 5 minutes tomorrow. He could play 15 minutes tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked with either outcome. He's just cooked on the defensive end going up against the Celtics. It's just Swiss cheese for them when Kevin Love's out there. So, like, sure is he in play. Center only does kind of suck, but more of just a large field GPP dart for me. Like, he clearly has a ceiling. He did it here in the play-in tournament up against Chicago, but I don't think the minutes are really going to be there for Kevin Love. DeLon Wright actually think is solid as well. Played 26 minutes here, went for 29 fantasy points. He hit like 4 threes in a row in the fourth quarter, got them back into the game a little bit. And then I believe they pulled everyone like last minute or so when it got back out of hand. But would see probably fair, I guess. I mean, it's around 20 minutes for him. Good point per minute guy as well. Not a ton of value on playoff slates, so I think DeLon is solid as well. And then I'll continue to mention Duncan Robinson. I think he'll be in the rotation here. And if they're down, I think, once again, they might need his scoring out there. So, like, you're going to get a slate where Duncan Robinson just randomly plays 25 minutes and could break the slate. So I'm always going to continue to mention Duncan Robinson, that I'm always intrigued by in GPPs, because I do think at one point in this series, they are going to play him over 20 minutes. And when that happens, I think you want to be on the right path of doing so. For you guys that play MME, 150 lineups, stuff like that, I would definitely sprinkle in some Duncan Robinson tomorrow for sure in your lineups. For you single entry guys, might be a bit too thin for single entry, but yeah, definitely MME. I like it in MME. All right, let's move on to Boston. Probably my least favorite team to target. They're all just soaked. They're all eating to each other's usage, but should get big minutes for Tatum, should get big minutes for everyone else. Peyton Pritchard's had a really good roll off of the bench, playing 24 minutes. Al Horford should get low 20s minutes, and then Sam Hauser, mid-teens, if I had to guess. With that being said, I think if I had to play one, I think it will be Jason Tatum. I think he's a decent contrarian spent up on the slate at 9.5K, played 41 minutes. Their go-to guy. He's been stuffing the stat sheet. Not the best matchup here going up against Miami, but yeah, I think he's a decent spend up. Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, if I had to pick one between the two, I'd give the slight edge to Jaylen Brown straight up, but I think both are fine contrarian plays. I'd personally rather play the Miami guys or the OKC guys over them, or even the Pelicans guys at similar price points, but they're fine contrarian plays. I mean, Jaylen Brown we know has a clear ceiling. Kristaps Porzingis, good rim protector, has a ton of block upside. She'll play over 30 minutes. Clearly has a ceiling. Price point's down, so I think point per dollar, if I had to rank them, it would be Tatum, Porzingis, Brown. Slight edge to Brown straight up. But yeah, I think Porzingis is an interesting GPP play for me tomorrow. Not a must play, but if I land on him, I'm not going to say no, right? Derek White, Drew Holiday at their price points, they're just there for me. If I had to play one, it would be Derek White over Drew Holiday. And then I like Peyton Pritchard off the bench at 4.7K. She'll play low 20s minutes. We know he's going to be productive when he's on the court. Good point per minute guy, about a fantasy point per minute guy. So if you give him 20, 24 minutes again at this price point, I think that's definitely solid. So, like Peyton Pritchard for value, Hauser's not going to get enough run for me to personally consider him. And then Al Horford is just overpriced. All right, let's get, in my opinion, the best game to target on this slate. Let's take a look at the Pelicans rotation. So Zion is going to continue to be out here, guys. All right, with the bigs, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, so in my video the other day, I told you guys that this was a Larry Nance spot. And I believe that's still the case. I still think this is a much better spot for Larry Nance to play more minutes than Jonas Valanciunas. I do. I'm going to die on that hill. Now, if Jonas comes out playing hot, grabbing every rebound, playing really well up against the Thunder tomorrow, would I be shocked if he gets 30 minutes again? No, absolutely not. I think it's going to depend on how the game flow goes. I think it's going to depend on how he's playing individually, etc. So there's going to be a lot of range of outcomes with Jonas, with Larry Nance. Brandon Ingram should play big minutes. Trey Murphy, I'm expecting over 40 minutes again. CJ, I'm expecting 40 minutes again. The bigs we went over. Herb Jones did need his defense out there. I'm expecting mid-30s minutes. Alvarado should get 20 off the bench. That's fine. Najee Marshall should get low to mid-teens, in my opinion, off of the bench as well. All right, let's take a look at the price points. I really like both CJ and Ingram. I do prefer CJ to Ingram. Just really, really tough matchup here for Brandon Ingram, but I think both are decent options, 7.5K, 7.4K respectively. Like I said, prefer CJ to Ingram. And the guy I really like here, even at this price point, is 6.7K Trey Murphy. It's just a minutes thing. He's a good point per minute guy. He can stuff the stat sheet. He's a good rebounder. He's chucking when he's out there. He's playing over 40 minutes. 6.7K is still a fair price point for his usage right now. They are leaving him wide open. I think he's a really good play at 6'7". Like him quite a bit. Already kind of went over the bigs. Listen, Jonas Valanciunas is probably going to be giga chalk tomorrow. Like I said, would I be shocked if he plays 30 minutes again? No, absolutely not. It's going to depend on game flow. It's going to depend on how he's playing. It's going to depend on how he's cleaning up the glass, etc. So I think Jonas is going to be really popular tomorrow. If that's the case, I'm personally probably going to be fading. If he's low owned, sure, take a shot. I am just not confident. I think this matchup just suits Larry Nance much, much better than Jonas Valanciunas. Herb Jones, I like quite a bit as well. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but they left Herb Jones legit wide open in the corner, just for open threes. They literally left him wide open. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that watched the game can vouch for this. He had like 10 feet of space between the next man next to him guarding him. They were doing a lot of doubles. Herb Jones was in the corner getting open looks with nobody in sight. The cleanest looks I think I've ever seen. So if he is going to continue to get open looks, which I think he will be, they need his defense out there. Can grab some rebounds. I'm expecting decent minutes once again here. Just comes down to if he hits his shots or not. He can get you a ton of blocks and steals. I don't think anyone's going to play him tomorrow. I think he has a massive ceiling in GPPs tomorrow with how OKC played their defense, leaving him wide open for three-point shots. So I do like Herb Jones. I don't think a ton of people are going to be playing him tomorrow at all. Kind of whatever the bigs there. And then I think Jose Alvarado and Najee Marshall are decent contrarian values. Najee Marshall, good point per minute guy that should see 15 to 20 minutes, like him at 3.8K. Alvarado, another good point per minute guy off the bench that should see around 20 minutes. Another guy that can get you a ton of steals. Don't mind it. All right, let's move on to OKC. Probably one of my favorite teams to target here. Let's take a look at the rotation. I mean, why are we running 11 guys in the playoffs? Like, what are we doing? But SGA, 40 minutes. Giddey, limited. Chet, 32 minutes. Jalen Williams, 40 minutes. Lou Dort, 35 minutes. And then good luck with the bench. Just good luck with that. All right, first off with the bench, I am not touching anyone. If anyone gets ownership off the bench for this team, they are the worst plays in the slate. I went over some bench value that's much, much better. Najee Marshall, Jose Alvarado, Peyton Pritchard, Jovic starting at 4.2K at similar price points to OKC. Delon Wright, Duncan Robinson. If anyone on OKC gets any ownership tomorrow, they are the worst values on the slate, in my opinion. I will not be touching this OKC bench. With that being said, I think SGA is one of the best spend-ups on the slate. 9.4K, not the best matchup, but looking at the spend-ups on the slate, you have a lot of guys that eat into each other's usage, etc. I think SGA up at the top is definitely the best option. I really like Jalen Williams at 6.8K. Got a minutes bump. Played 40 minutes. He was not playing 40 minutes during the regular season. So if he's going to continue to get a minutes bump, it's going to boost his floor, boost his ceiling. He's already got to grab some rebounds, stuff the stat sheet. So he looks really good to me at 6.8K. And I like Chet Holmgren quite a bit at 6.9K. He's too cheap as well. So All the top 3 guys look great here for me for OKC. Prefer Chet is my favorite point per dollar. Getting too pricey for me. I think Lou Dort is a solid value. They need his defense out there as well. She'll play 35 minutes again. Not going to be productive when he's out there, but kind of like why I really like McDaniels say was you're not going to get guys that are going to play 35 plus minutes in the playoffs that are sub 4K. Now, Lou Dort, different situation. McDaniels is a better play than Lou Dort, but yeah, going to play big minutes, definitely a solid value. And like I said, I'm not touching this bench value with the 10-foot pole. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think going in depth, talking about the rotations, what I think happens, definitely, it's fun, man. It's fun. So hopefully you guys had a good night tonight. I will talk to you all in the next video.